What's happening? Welcome back to Duty's Daggers. We are talking about Demco today. I want to compare these three Demcos. People have a lot of questions about what are the differences between the American-made AD20, the overseas-made AD20.5, and the overseas-made Shark Cub. So I'm just going to do a relatively quick video comparing these two for anyone that wants to know, and let's get into it. First, please subscribe to the channel and like the video too. I'll give you a chance right now to go do that. Alright, cool. Thank you. So, my first Demco was this one right here. Well, I had a budget version first, but the 20.5 was my first Demco. It was really exciting when these first came out because previously to these, the only way that you could experience a shark lock was buying one of these big American-made boys that were much more expensive and harder to get. So the 20.5s took the knife world by storm because it was the first time we could experience a shark lock with a relatively small price tag. They were $150 when they first came out, which is a lot for, Grivery and OS 10. But I gladly paid it because I really wanted to try the shark lock, and I absolutely fell in love with it. Absolutely fell in love. It is one of my favorite locking mechanisms for a few reasons. Number one being its ease of use. It is so easy to use this lock. It's easier than a Spyderco compression lock. It's easier than a frame liner. Maybe not easier than a button lock, but it's very easy. You just pull back. That's all you do. It's kind of down and back. That's it. It's a really easy to grab tab right here. Also, it's an extremely strong locking mechanism. These can take a lot of abuse before they fail. In fact, I think the blade would probably break or the handle would break before the actual lockup failed. Way stronger than a frame or liner lock, that's for sure. Definitely a button lock. There's some other really strong locks too. But this is an extremely strong one. And also, it makes some of the best noises. I love clicky, clacky metal things. I know a lot of you guys do as well. And the sounds that the shark lock makes are just legendary. They sound even better on the big one. Just so good. So that was my first one. And then I got an AD20. I finally, I saved up a little bit. I was able to get in on a drop. I can't remember where. I think it was DLT, maybe. These are about $450, and this one is in 3V. The blade steel is denoted on the inside there, in the tang. And this is an incredible knife. This is one that I would never, ever, ever get rid of. It's in G10 and 3V, like I said. The G10 is so thick. Look how thick these scales are. I can't even flex them at all, squeezing as hard as I can. These are just beefy scales. When I first ordered this, I thought, man, I kind of wanted the full titanium one. But after owning it, I mean, the full titanium one's awesome, don't get me wrong. I think for everyday use, though, this is where it's at. A little more lightweight. A little more like industrial work knife feeling than the full titanium one would be. So I'm really happy with this one. You can get like OG Goat replacement titanium scales. I thought I might do that, but I'm not. I'm really happy with the G10 one. Also, it feels like really quality G10. It feels very, very nice. Texture on it is really, really good. I just love it. You got the big pivot. It says Demco knives on it. On the other side, it says Wampum, PA, where the Demco home base is. This is a clip-pointed version with a full flat grind. They weren't doing full flats for a while. This was the first time they did a full flat on the AD20s, and man, does it slice. It slices, I'm telling you, man. Even though the blade stock is pretty thick, this thing slices. It just comes down to a pretty thin measurement behind the edge, considering how thick the blade stock is. Let's measure the blade stock. Just put new batteries in this puppy. 179 thousandths, and then if we look behind the edge, it's only 15 thousandths, man. think it's even thinner right up here. It's, let's see. Yeah, 11 thousandths up here. And then it gets thicker again up toward the tip. 15 thousandths, and at the very tip, up to 22 thousandths. Surprisingly thin. I mean, usually knives with this thick blade stock have like 20 thousandths plus. This is 11 in some areas, 15 in some other areas. That is thin, man. Also, I love the stonewash on this. This is just a beautiful stonewash. Really, really nice. This is the one with the slot only. Some of them have thumb studs. This version didn't. I also love this jimping. Look how that's like double jimping, where there's like smaller jimps on the larger jimps. If that makes sense. It looks so good. It's nice and grippy, but not too grippy. Amazing choke up spot, like on all Demkos. I love the way he does this. It's just a really nice kind of locked in feeling back here. You got this little point here, and then there's a little shelf for you to choke up on right here. They're not taking away any blade length by putting in a big choil here to put your finger in. They're just making it a little shelf on the scale, just so you can choke up and get real nice and close to that edge. Now, the stock pocket clip I have changed on both of these because I don't love it. It's not deep carry. It works fine and everything, but I like these to be deep carry. So these are from Lynch Northwest. They work really, really well. This is just an amazing work knife. An incredibly strong lock, an incredibly just beefy, tough knife. If I was taking a folding knife into some kind of survival situation, this would be it. Absolutely, 100%. Let's talk about the 20.5 for a minute. This is the full titanium one, also in 3V. Smooth titanium. There's also one in textured titanium. Excellent stonewash on this one. A little bit different type of stonewash, almost like a cloudy sort of stonewash that I love. This is the shark's foot version. Same, great ergos, little shelf for you to choke up on. Excellent jimping. Lynch Northwest pocket clip. No liners. This is just full thickness titanium without any milling. This will always be one of my favorite knives. I replaced the stock studs with some copper ones, just for a little bit of flair. And the Shark Cub, the smallest of all of these, and much thinner than all of them. I'll show you in a minute. Much thinner blade stock too. This is a slicer. Go watch the cut test video on this knife. It'll blow you away. It blew me away. This thing cuts so freaking good. It came in 3 blade shapes. This is the slicer blade shape. And it's not a full flat grind, but since the blade stock is so thin already, it doesn't matter that much. It's just so slicey. Same ergos, man. Same really good ergos. Little shelf for you to choke up on. The first time that Demco's ever done a stock deep carry clip, as far as I know, and it works really well. Aluminum. There was different versions of these. There was like some dark Ultim ones, I think at Blade HQ. There were some titanium ones as well. I went with the aluminum, black aluminum. And this is a great knife. It feels a little snappier in the deployment. I think probably just because the blade is so light. It just pops out really nice. It's a great knife. So let's look at some comparisons here. Thickness-wise, this is a beast. Look at it next to 20.5. It is massive. Look at it next to the Shark Cub. It looks even more massive. Look at that. Insane, dude. Let's take some measurements. We did the blade stock on the 80/20. Blade stock on the 20.5 is 127 thousandths. It's got a pretty wide edge bevel. Behind the edge, we're looking at 23 thousandths there, 23 thousandths there. So yeah, it is a wider edge bevel, so that's going to make the measurement larger, but also it's just thicker behind the edge. This is actually probably a better slicer than this one, surprisingly. But this is the best slicer of them all. We got 94 thousandths behind the edge. That is thin, dude. A TRM is pretty close to that, I think. Let's see. TRM is 89, so a little thinner, but very close. And then this is a nice wide edge bevel too. We're looking at 21 thousandths. So yeah, very thin blade stock and such a good slicer. Blade lengths. This one is about 3.5. This one's about a little under 3, like 2 7/8. And this one's like 2 3/4, under 3 inches. Um, you know, functionally, they all work exactly the same. This one you have the thumb stud, the others you don't. But as far as working the shark lock, they're all just as easy as the other one. This is probably the easiest just because it's so wide, more real estate for your finger to get onto, but they're all really easy. They all have this really nice fine jimping that just grips your finger. You know, Cold Steel has tried to do something similar with their Atlas lock, and it's nowhere near as easy to operate in my opinion. It's a little further down here on the back of the knife. Also, the jimping isn't as grippy. The way that Demco does it is they put this little dip, this little divot in the scale for the tip of your finger to go back into. So you get more of the tip of your finger on that tab. With Cold Steel, there's no divot there, so you kind of feel like you're just like hanging off. This was such a good idea, putting that little divot right there. So that's it. Just a quick overview of these three. I love them all. Demco, they're one of my favorites, man. If you haven't experienced one, you must. That's it. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. I'll see you soon.